Are you a 90s fan? Think you know the music? Then tell me, how is it possible that one of the biggest 90s bands never hit #1 the entire decade? Can you name them? How come the very artists that defined the decade couldn't even top the chart once? You will not believe which 90s star spent the entire decade stacking radio hits with 0 #1 albums to show for it. It's the weirdest thing. And you will be shocked at how many artists you think of as 90s stars actually never topped the charts the entire decade and didn't hit #1 until the 2000s. After digging through all the chart data, these are the 5 most shocking 90s icons who never hit #1 until years later. One of them didn't hit #1 until 2013. Make sure you watch till the end of this video because I have an amazing 90s trivia question I bet you can't answer. First off, did you know Green Day didn't have a #1 album until the fall of 2004? Over a decade after Dookie came out. Dookie appropriately peaked at #2 in 1994. Insomniac did the same thing in 95. It was 2004's American Idiot, their punk rock opera, that gave the trio their first chart crown, when it reigned for 3 weeks atop the chart in the mid-2000s. But Green Day is not the only 90s alternative rock band on our list. Foo Fighters, which started in the 90s as a post-Nirvana one-man project of Dave Grohl, eventually did release 5 top 10 albums, but none of them hit #1 until 2011. Wasting Light was the album that climbed to the top, and they'd eventually score another #1 in 2017 with their album Concrete and Gold. The 90s saw hip-hop explode with larger-than-life superstars. There was one 90s rapper who had to wait all the way till 2006 to get a #1 record, Busta Rhymes. Despite landing 5 albums inside the top 40, Busta wouldn't rule the chart until his 2006 LP came out, The Big Bang. If you think waiting until 2006 was long, how about being a 90s breakout act having to wait till 2013? That's what Daft Punk had to do. In the 90s, they gave us Around the World, but it wasn't until they got lucky with Pharrell in 2013 and went #1 with their album Random Access Memories. Now, if you grew up in the 1990s and ever ran errands on a Saturday morning with your mom, this next one will shock you. This next band's soundtrack to getting picked up from school. Their music videos woke us up in the morning on VH1, encapsulating what the 90s felt and sounded like for kids like you and me. But this next band didn't score #1 until 2012. And they had huge hits like Push, Bent, 3AM. But for whatever reason, it was their album North that gave Matchbox 20 their first #1 album in 2012. Crazy, right? Rob Thomas even beat him when his solo album went #1 in 2005. Now for your trivia question. Which massive 90s act had 8 #1 albums in the UK, but never topped the charts here in the States? I was shocked. Want a hint? Closest they ever got was in 1997 when their album peaked at #2. Drop your guesses in the comments. If you dug this video, I'd love for you to drop it a like. And for more music videos just like this one, follow for more.